Hey, Doc. Welcome to part 3 of the 2026 Retention and Reactivation Breakthrough for Chiropractors. This free 4-part video series is all about the new standard of email marketing in chiropractic and how we can take your practice to that next level. So, we're officially at third base. We'll be home soon, which is super exciting. Over the last 2 videos, we've covered 2 big shifts. So video 1 was all about the new engagement standard heading into 2026 for chiropractors. And video 2 showed you the real numbers, the 46% to 70% open rate jump, the massive first send improvement. All we did was switch content and boosted major for the clicks. And then literally a 2 email send. We sent 2 newsletters in a row, and collectively they paid for the entire year of service. So that's what you missed in videos 1 and 2. So if you didn't watch them, go watch them. And if you did watch them, thank you for being there. So we'll just move along tonight. So here's the truth. Most chiropractors don't have an email problem. What they really have is a connection problem. They have a communication problem. So your patients aren't reading PubMed. They're not clicking AI-generated newsletters, and they're not responding to content that feels cold, generic, or overly clinical. They respond to you, your voice, your personality, your practice, your community. And that's why we built the only human-first email system in chiropractic. And that's why it outperforms everything else around. So introducing the care system. So I'm going to break down what human first means inside of our care system. It's the backbone of everything we do at ChiroConnect. Connect is about the way you welcome new patients so they want to come back after the first visit, not because they feel guilty, but because they feel seen. Activate is how you engage patients who've drifted off your schedule without bribing them with discounts or sounding desperate. Retain is keeping your regulars coming back consistently because they understand the value of your care and not just because the price of an adjustment has shifted. And then engage is making sure your massages don't sound like your massages. Goodness, your messages don't sound like they were written. I'm reading my notes so that I'm saying what is very similar. If I don't read my notes, I'll go off rails and we'll be here for an hour. And I don't want to keep you for an hour. So, Doc, that's really funny. So let me go back to that note. Engage is making sure your messages don't sound like they were written by a robot or AI or a research journal or, whatever, but by a real doctor who actually knows them and cares about their health, which is you. So that's the filter we run every single one of our emails through when it comes to the care system. So since we breezed through what each of those means sort of collectively, I'm now going to cover each one of them, which is why I just wanted to run through what they mean. And now I want to give you just a little bit more, obviously more detail into each one of them. So the next one, the next slide we're going to go to is all about Connect. So this is the very first one in the care system. And unfortunately, this little image here, you can't see it very well, but it's meant to indicate a welcome campaign. So what we set up for our clients, just really quick before I begin my spiel, what we set up for our clients is a 7 email welcome series. And this is just a screenshot of like the first 2 emails. So basically someone comes in, it waits a little bit and then sends them their first email, then waits a day, sends the next email. And then this whole thing is super duper long because it's 7 whole emails over the course of a couple weeks. But I just kind of wanted to explain what you're seeing here. But Connect is the foundation. Like it's really the foundation of the care system. And honestly, it's where most of the docs drop the ball. Like Connect is just where you drop the ball. And it's really all about welcoming and setting expectations. Once you kind of do that, it really takes your patient's retention to another level. So that's a super important thing that none of my clients were just sending welcome emails or welcome campaigns on their own, not even through their EHR, which is readily available. So if you look into your EHR. You might be able to actually have a welcome campaign for free that goes out when you add new patients. And you might even be able to edit that a little bit. It just depends on your EHR. But anyway, like I said, Connect is the foundation of the care system. And patients, they come in for day one and day two, and then there's nothing. There's radio silence, right? If you don't have a welcome campaign, you're not checking in. They come in for their day one. Typically after that, you text, you call, you check in. From my experience, that's the way that it typically works. And then you've got your day two. And then now you've sort of established that rapport, and you end the communication there. So there's no continuation of like how things work in your practice on the norm, and what to expect from your care long term, how to connect with you, how to follow you on social, what happens if they have an emergency and need you, how to manage that. There's all kinds of things that you can communicate that really just help solidify that patient, that relationship from the very get-go. So that what it basically means, Connect just fixes that. Connect fixes that, and it means sending a welcome campaign that walks new patients through exactly everything that I just listed. You've got what to expect from your care, how often they'll hear from you, how to reach you, what your visit flow looks like, and honestly, human things that make your practice feel personal and make those emails feel personal. So when patients know what's coming next, they feel safe, they return, safe patients return for sure. So they feel good and they feel like they can trust you. That's building that initial welcome and sort of what to expect from you. So returning patients, they stay longer, they complete their care plans, and then turn into long-term patients. So Connect is the foundation of everything else in the care system. And it's awesome. It's awesome. I'll show you, I love the care system. I worked really hard once I developed ChiroConnect, and then the first year in business, I worked really hard to try to, find my way of what I felt, what I had done previously. I've been in this business for a long time. I've been in chiropractic marketing for over 15 years and specifically email marketing for almost 10. And what I've learned, what was working was no longer working. And I've spent this time to define what does work. And you saw that in video too, just by 3 examples that just stood out to me in October's data. So what you see there is the result of developing this system and then seeing how the system plays out for my clients. And that's why I'm bringing it to you. So the care system is very important to me, and it really is the framework of ChiroConnect and what we do, and it works. So that's why we're here. So the next slide is Activate. Activate is your reactivation engine. So this is where a lot of your practices miss easy wins. So your reactivation engine, there are a lot of people who already know you, already trust you, already paid you for your care, but for whatever reason, they drifted off. So most docs just ignore them or try to bribe them back with a discount. But you don't need discounts. You need relevance, and you need consistent communication. So our Activate campaigns are seasonal, personal, doctor specific, topic specific, and clearly tied to what your patients actually need. Decompression, shockwave, stress season, back to school, holidays, all of it. And when you do this consistently, reactivations stop being a quarterly thing and actually become the monthly revenue stabilizer your practice really needs. Next up is Retain. Retain is the engine behind consistent appointments. So hear me out with that. Appointment consistency is really all about that weekly staying in touch. So with Retain, this is your weekly newsletter. This is the stuff that keeps your active patients connected between visits. You're no longer my chiropractor because I forgot about you between my visits and I'll look you up and send you to whoever. You're now Dr. Todd, who fixed the ache that I had in my shoulder, who's fabulous. Let me get you his number because he's amazing. I just got an email from him the other day. It's right here. So there's a difference in how people talk about you and then how they think about you when you are consistently staying top of mind. So patients don't stay because of results alone. I wish that they did. They should. I certainly believe that they should, but they stay because of you and because they feel connected to you. So retain helps your patients actually understand the value of your care, which means they come back more consistently, refer more often, and stay engaged with your practice. All right, y'all, we're down to the last one. I hate to speed through this. If you have questions, there's always a link somewhere to book with me. If not, like it's anywhere and everywhere. You can check my Instagram, my Facebook, my personal one. You can friend me on Facebook. You can check the ChiroConnect Instagram account and Facebook pages. Certainly our website at getchiroconnect.com. You can always reach me by just replying to any of our emails. So if I go too fast and you have additional questions, you might just be DIYing and have some questions. You just hit me up, book a call with me, and we'll discuss it, and I can help you out. So we'll go on to the last one, engage. And this is the human first layer. This is it. That's what I think of this. This is the human first layer, the part that separates real practices from generic content. And now hear me out. This isn't about blasting a newsletter like once in a while. It's not about promotions and those reactivation campaigns. Excuse me, my throat's getting a little bit dry. Excuse me. It's not about discounts. Engage is your monthly check-in. So it's the touch point that feels personal. It's the one that reminds your patients that you personally care about them and their health. This isn't like the patient education newsletter where they're learning about something seasonal, something, a body ache or a body symptom. This is not what that is. This is a personal monthly one-on-one check-in between the doc and the patient. This is where you're saying, hey, your chiropractor still sees you, still knows you, still cares about your health, still cares about how you're going. And most patients don't fall off because they're unhappy with you. They fall off because life gets loud, right? Like I know it does for me on occasion. So if you're not showing up in their inbox at least once a month in a real human way, then they drift. And that human way is most definitely a monthly check-in. So we just send a super short, here at ChiroConnect, we send a super short, easy check-in email for our clients that just checks in, sees how they're going, see how they feel that that their progress is going, and then how can we get you back in. Now, emotionally, this is the big one. This is the one where they start to see you not as just my chiropractor, but as someone who's in their corner, as Dr. Todd, who cares about their health and their well-being and is there to ensure that they're, keeping up their end of their bargain on their own health and help keep them accountable for their wellness. So that's really what it's all about. That's what engages people. It's what keeps them active, and it's what turned your email list into a retention machine. So engage is the heartbeat of the whole care system, and it's the monthly reminder that keeps your relationship alive. All right, y'all. I think I switched them around. I don't even know if I had that on the correct slide. I'm so sorry. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but that's what it's like when you're doing this stuff, Sometimes you make a little boo-boo. But this is engage, and these images, just real quick, this is just an example of like a monthly check-in. I hope you're enjoying the summer so far. The season tends to bring a mix of travel, outdoor projects. If you've been noticing any tightness or discomfort, I just want to stay ahead of any issues, and you go into phone number to call. So that's what engage looks like. I didn't really address what's on the slides, so I'm going to go back just for like a hot second and show you. Well, there we go. Retain. This is just showing you a quick newsletter. This is just a header and then a little bit of the content for patient education. These emails are super duper long typically. So, you can only see a little snippet here. And then activate for reactivation campaigns. This is typically like a 3 email campaign. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little representation of what that is before I head into this slide. So this is the slide. I want you to take a screenshot of this. If you're on your phone, your computer, whatever, take a screenshot. I'll include it in one of my emails for sure. So this is the cheat sheet. It's the care system cheat sheet. So if you're watching this on your phone, like I said, or your computer, go ahead, take a quick screenshot. Otherwise, I'm sure it'll be in one of my emails. So this is the breakdown of how real patient communication is working in 2026. So Connect is your seven email welcome campaign over a couple weeks, over 14 days. Activate is your reactivation flow. For anyone inactive over 30 days, this is a monthly. Some people do this quarterly. I say do it monthly, and that's a 3 email monthly campaign. Retain is your weekly newsletter that keeps active patients engaged. Engage is your monthly check-in. It's the human first touch point that keeps drift from happening in the first place. So you don't have to memorize this. Just keep it. Just keep the screenshot handy and follow it. If you do, your email list will work harder for you than it ever has. So that's it, you guys. That is it. That is the care system. Like I said, if you have questions, book a call with me. There's no obligation to buy, or there's no demo involved in the call. Just call and we'll talk out what questions you have and see what's going on in your practice. So before I here's where we're heading next. So you now understand the human first email system: connect, activate, retain, engage, and why it works so well for chiropractors, especially heading into 2026. But knowing the system and installing it in your practice, those are two very different things. So most chiropractors never implement this on their own, not because it's complicated, but because you're already stretched thin and it's just a lot of work. So you're running a practice, you're taking care of people, and you don't have hours every week to write, plan, schedule, review data, optimize. So that's what part 4 is all about, and it's why it's so important, is the implementation part. So in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how this entire human first system can go in place in your practice without writing a single email, without touching software, without any logins or training videos, and no workload on your team. So if you've been watching this series and thinking, this is exactly what my practice needs and I don't have the bandwidth to do it myself, then part 4 is for you. So keep an eye out. It drops tomorrow and you don't want to miss it. I'll see you then.